What's going on, everybody? Yes, we are back with another Wednesday Watchtower. That's right. We got some big news. That's right. Big news. Lanterns casting. It's exciting times. With that, we're also going to discuss at length what we think, what we hope maybe is going to be the overall narrative of Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters and leading to what the big bad of this chapter will be. So sit back and enjoy and join the discussion with us, won't ya? Let's get into this. Let's go. How's it going, everybody? Hope you had a good couple days since our last show the other day on Monday. That was an interesting show. It was a good show. Hope you're all having a good night. Did I not say on Monday, I think before the end of this week, did I not say that I thought this week we would get the casting news for Jon Stewart? Did I not say that? I thought that we would get it this week. I just had a feeling. I also did say that it was a possibility it may go another week or so, but I really was thinking it was going to come this week. I definitely did. Let's see, we got Vahanush Vosganian. I hope I said that right, but he says, yo, what's up? How's it going? I'm terrible with names, so I apologize if I said that wrong, but how's it going? He also says, I think the gods and God and monsters represents Superman. It's possible. It's a good possibility. Let's see. We got Jay Burns in here as well. He's saying Blackest Night animated or live action has been on my wish list for a while. Hope for Life is in here as well. Excellent time. I'm glad everybody is joining. We got more people joining. Good times, guys. Exciting times. We are definitely going to talk about the big news first. That's going to be the first thing we're going to, right off the top, we're going to talk about the big news that dropped today for sure. Hope for Life says you were 100% right on getting cast for Lanterns. Look, I mean, it was just a guess, honestly. I'm not going to sit here and say like I'm the smartest man alive. You can think I am, but it was just a guess. I was reading the tea leaves, as you will. So yes. Otito Ukwemi, again, hope I'm saying that right. A New God series would go hard, elaborating the lore behind New Genesis and Apocalypse. Yeah, we'll get into stuff like that. We'll talk about that kind of stuff in a bit here. I don't think we're going to get into New Genesis and Apocalypse anytime soon, but I agree it would be cool to see that kind of stuff for sure. TSC Paul's Wise DC cooking right now. It really, really is. So, I mean, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. Via Deadline, Lanterns, Aaron Pierre cast as Jon Stewart in HBO DC series. Huge news dropped earlier today. Yeah, Aaron Pierre of Rebel Ridge has been tapped to star in Lanterns, HBO's high-profile series based on the Green Lantern DC comic. He is set to play Jon Stewart opposite Hal Jordan, a role Kyle Chandler has been in negotiations for and expected to close, which rumor has it that he did close on negotiations today as well. Pierre landed the Jon Stewart part after an extensive search, as Deadline reported 2 weeks ago in the process's final stages. He had emerged as a frontrunner alongside, I believe it's Stephen James, not Stephen James, but maybe I'm wrong. The series from Ozark's Chris Mundy, Watchmen's Damon Lindelof, and comic book writer Tom King follows new recruit Jon Stewart and Lantern legend Hal Jordan, two intergalactic cops drawn into a dark Earth-based mystery as they investigate a murder in the American heartland. Now, we got this from Deadline, and the cool thing about it is not only did we get this from Deadline, but then James Gunn himself went to social media and he goes, welcome to DC, Aaron Pierre. After a long and grueling series of auditions, I'm absolutely sure we found an incredible Jon Stewart, confirming that Aaron Pierre is indeed Jon Stewart in the upcoming Lanterns. This is great news. This is exciting news. This is the type of stuff that is just really, this is what makes people excited. He is a great choice, a great casting choice. Just as Kyle Chandler is a great choice for Hal Jordan. Again, that one was out of left field. I don't think anybody was thinking Kyle Chandler, but he is such a phenomenal actor that when you sit back and you realize, you're like, man, we're all thinking these A-list actors, and then they cast Kyle Chandler and they pick him, and you're like, that makes so much sense. He's a phenomenal actor. Again, Aaron Pierre. And yes, there are people on social media, on X and everything like that, sitting there saying, well, this is just what Twitter was saying. Twitter was saying Aaron Pierre for weeks because of Rebel Ridge and blah, 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 this and that. Regardless of how it got from point A to point B, he's a phenomenal actor. They went through extensive auditions and he did his part, and they decided that he is the perfect choice for it. He's a great actor, and he's going to kill this role. It is a great choice. I can't wait to see him and Kyle Chandler work next to each other. Maybe we see Nathan Fillion as well next to him. That could be an interesting dynamic as well. Who knows how involved Nathan Fillion is going to be in this series. I do know, and I believe we've heard that he's going to be in it in some form or fashion. Again, how involved is he going to be? I know some people are speculating that could be the death. They're going to investigate the death of a Green Lantern, and it could be Guy Gardner. Who knows? That's all speculation right now. But this is all exciting. This is the type of stuff that we want to sit here and talk about and discuss, and we're getting it. Again, news after news after news. We knew this was coming, and here we go. We got some big news. And don't listen to the naysayers out there. Don't listen to the people out there who are saying, Zack Snyder had Wayne T. Carr as Green Lantern and Jon Stewart first. That's mine, Green Lantern. Look, I'm sure it would have been awesome to see Wayne T. Carr as Green Lantern, Green Lantern Jon Stewart. I'm sure it would have been great. That's nothing against him. It's just it didn't pan out. He shot a scene in Zack Snyder's driveway. He stood there in front of a green screen. It never came to fruition, unfortunately. This is our Jon Stewart. This is our Green Lantern. Let's get behind him. Let's get excited. This is what we should be caring about. This is what we should be excited for. But I want to know what you all think. So let me know in the comments below. All right. What do we got here? What do we got over in the comments here? Vanush. There's got to be a shorter way to say this, man. I'm bad with names, so if I screw it up whenever I say it, I'm sorry. Bro is jacked. TSC Pulse. The hype around the upcoming DC projects is insane, and I'm all for it. Hope for Life. I think Aaron is going to make a great Jon Stewart, though I have not seen any of his acting other than Krypton. Yes, he was in Krypton as well. He was also in The Little Mermaid as well. Yeah, the remake of Little Mermaid. Of his acting other than Krypton, I got a good feeling. Jay Burns gun confirmed Chandler on Threads. Well, there you have it. It is confirmed. Chandler 100%. It's fantastic. Another one. James confirmed Kyle playing. Again, this is great news. It's exciting. It's exciting. You know, even better is you get stuff like this. James Gunn confirms that Aaron Pierre will appear as Jon Stewart in the DCU series, films, and games, all projects, TV, everything. Because again, somebody asked him on Threads, just please make sure you don't cast Green Lantern, or you cast perfectly, because this is a perfect casting, and then not be able to use the same actors in feature films, blah, blah, blah. James Gunn goes, all DC projects, henceforth movies or TV, are under one studio, DC Studios. If it's a DCU project, it will be the same actor in both mediums. And that, of course, is true of Aaron as well. So if it's in movies, it's in TV, it's going to be Aaron. We know that. We knew that. But again, it's just nice to see James Gunn. This is another great thing about James Gunn is he is talking to the fans and the people on Threads, and he's responding to them and making sure people understand what's going on. Some people may say, oh, it's a bad move because he can get ahead of himself sometimes. He may say some things that might get turned against him later on. But again, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it as long as he's honest and, talking to the people and saying things like this. I think it's fine. And again, it's just getting people excited. That's what it is. Huge DC. Love the casting. It is great casting for sure. Hugo Millie. His eyes are the main selling point. I feel John would be quite intimidating. He's got it um, there with them gorgeous eyes. He does his eyes. He's got like these piercing eyes, and yeah, I think he's gonna. That's gonna be a great selling points. You know, if they, even if they just add that little green tint to his eyes, that's gonna be really cool. Jay Burns, I'm hoping this also opens the door for other Lantern cores for sure. You know it. Vanush, love the casting. Otito, like looking in a cartoon mirror, looks exactly like the Justice League cartoon. He really does look like it. Ki Hu Kwan as Saint Walker, the Blue Lantern. If they go down the Blue Lanterns, if we see Blue Lanterns, I could see it. I don't know if I can pull it up real quick. But yeah, I could definitely see something like that. Let's see here. Hope for Life, Nathan is going to be the murder victim, I'm sure, unless he dies during Superman movie. If he's not dead, I don't understand why House Jordan and John Stewart, Hal Jordan and John Stewart would be investigating a murder on Earth. Miraculous, this is crazy good casting. Can't wait to see him partnered with Chandler's Hal or alongside Cornsweat Superman. That's another thing, man. Cornsweat Superman, that's gonna look fantastic. It really is. I posted this earlier today. Obviously, you see all those, but where is it at? This right here. I mean, could this be the start of our Justice League? I know a lot of people think that Supergirl isn't going to be part of it. It's a good possibility she's not, but I mean, Cornsweat is Superman, Isabel Merced is Hawkgirl, and then you have Aaron Pierre as John Stewart, Green Lantern. I do have Millie Alcock as Supergirl there. But hey, this cast, I mean, there's so many other actors already cast in different roles. Don't forget that. We have Mr. Terrific, we have Guy Gardner, we have Metamorpho, we got who else we got? There's so many others. The Peacemaker cast as well. You know, there's so many other characters within that we don't like even think about or remember. But we also have another one that we don't even know who it is yet because James Gunn is trying to like, hey, who could this be? And this is so interesting. So they're in the middle of filming Peacemaker season 2 or season 1.5 or 1.B, whatever you want to call it. And he posts this, and could he be doing something crazy here? I don't know. Like, who do you think this could be? That's what I want to know. Like, who do you think this could be? Because some people are like Apache Chief, like who could it be? Like that'd be wild. That would be absolutely wild if he went that route. But that's totally up James Gunn's alley for sure. And Peacemaker, like that's up Peacemaker's alley as well. I'm all for it if that's who it is. Like I'm all for it. I'm sold. I'm on board if that's what it is. But who else could it be? I posted on my where did I put it here? Man, I post a lot sometimes. I go, this MFR putting Apache Chief in the DCU, that would be hilarious and awesome. But who else could it be? American Eagle, Man of Bats, Mirage. I was trying to think of like Native American type of superheroes that it could be. It's just wild of what he's doing. And again, it's just all of these characters that are being added into the DCU already. It's crazy. It is just going to be filled. And that's phenomenal. That's great. It's so exciting. Like, I don't know. I love it. It's awesome. What do we got here? I have no idea where I'm at. I have lost my place here, guys. I'm sorry. I'll say go to Hunter Iggy here. I may have missed your comment. I apologize. I will say if you want to make sure I don't miss your comment, super chats are a great way to not only do that, but also support the channel. That way I don't miss your chats if you really want me to catch your chat. So I do apologize because sometimes I do get lost in the chats. Hunter Iggy says, have you heard or seen on Twitter that DC Studios are looking for middle-aged Batman? I did see that. It looks like that is a rumor coming from My Time to Shine. So a noted scooper who is more often wrong than not. So I didn't really want to discuss that. I didn't want to bring that up. I don't like talking about scoops too often unless I can reach out to a couple people that I know that maybe can say, yeah, that sounds about right. Again, that's the only real way that I care about discussing anything like that. Otherwise, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not surprised. In middle age, if we're gonna go middle age um with Batman, if they go that route, middle age could be late 30s, early 40s. It could be early 40s, mid 40s. So I'm going to say 35 to 45 range is probably what they're going to go for, probably closer to 40. So I'm not far off on what my speculation was. And like I said, I could still see someone like a Taron Egerton go in that range. I know a lot of people are sitting there saying Jake Gyllenhaal. I saw a great one. I don't remember who. Oh, it was a guy named Hussein on X. He posted Henry Cavill. I was like, go for it. That would not only break the Snyder fan loyalist brains, but it could probably break the internet's brains as well. But again, stuff like that would be interesting for sure. So again, I'm all for the Jake Gyllenhaal casting if that's how they go. I think he's a little older than I would go. I think he's like 45, 46. I like going closer to 40, the closer you can get to 40 to 35, I think is the best route, if that's true. For sure. Yeah, here we go, right here. Middle-aged actors will be considered for playing Batman in the DCU and via My Time to Shine. Yeah, that's where it's coming from. Let's see. Otito, the best thing about Guns DCU, using different tones means it will never get old and feel refreshed with each project, unlike Marvel. Yeah. The Watcher. I love the choice. He fits John. I'm just glad Lantern's finally and faithfully being brought into live action. I agree. Vehanush, what's your Superman plot theory? I'm going to be honest. I mean, I think it's going to be I think how it's going to play out is the world is full of superheroes and they've all pretty much gone astray. They're kind of running, I won't say amok, but think of Kingdom Come. I don't know if you've ever read that comic, but think of Kingdom Come in a way where they're kind of just running amok in a way. And Superman is basically going to come in and try to be that symbol of hope. The government is going to try and control Superman, but he's not going to let them control him. He's not going to do that whole thing. So because they can't control him like they control other superheroes, they're going to try and capture him. Because of that, they're going to, I believe they're going to clone Superman or do what they think is cloning Superman, because I think they're going to not believe that Superman is an alien. They're going to think he's a metahuman. So they're going to try and attempt to clone him and make their own version of Superman. In doing so, they're going to fail and then create a Bizarro. But during this time, as they try to do all of this, Superman becomes the symbol of hope, not just for the world, but for all superheroes within the world, thus creating a Justice League of sorts, as well as reinvigorating superheroes within the world, becoming more honorable. And you'll see supervillains like, wanting to rise up against these superheroes and that kind of thing. That's how I think it's going to play out, honestly. This is my theory there. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Hugo Millie, there's only a few of them. I don't know where that's coming from. Sorry. The Watcher. I really think and I'm hoping that the JL Unlimited animated series is our main JL lineup. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. It is possible. I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, you got your Jon Stewart. You're gonna have Batman. You're gonna have Superman. Hawkgirl's already there. Flash, I guess we'll have, again, we're still not sure if we're gonna have Wally West or Barry Allen yet. And then Wonder Woman we still need. And then Martian Manhunter. So that's pretty much it then, right? I don't think I'm missing anybody there. So yeah, I mean, it's possible. We're basically like halfway there. Jay Burns, I'm way off, I know, but I said Snowflame just because that feels like a gun character. That could be. You're talking about the picture. Um, it could be. I'm not there anymore. Who knows? Again, with gun, you never know with gun. Like you just don't know. You just don't know. Um, let's see. TSC Pulse thinks it could be Vandal Savage. And maybe it could be Vandal Savage. It could be. Antonio Baker, something gets Apache Chief. That's what I want. That is the first thing I thought whenever I saw it was Apache Chief. And then everybody else, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, it's me. No, I know a lot of other people were thinking Apache Chief. I mean, that's just a good possibility. And it's possible. It is very, very possible. It could be Apache Chief or it could be somebody else. But I think Apache Chief just really fits the mold of James Gunn. Just that wacky power that he has of just growing. And I just think it would be hilarious. I just think it would be fantastic and funny for sure. All right, so let's move on to our big topic here, guys. I want to talk about the big topic here. I know there's a lot of comments here for sure, but I do want to move on to the big topic of the night, which is the Gods and Monsters exploring the ideal antagonist for the DCU Chapter 1. Now, over at SlavsFreeTalk.com, I know you've probably seen every single week when we talk about this main topic, I make sure to have an article or a blog post over at SlavsFreeTalk.com that you can go and check out exactly what I'm thinking, exactly what we're talking about here. So head over there if you want to follow along. If you want to just check out the article, support the website, all that kind of stuff. There's no ads or anything. It's an ad-free site right now. Maybe one day I'll put ads on there, but right now it's ad-free. So the best way to support me is to jump on to the YouTubes and just $2.99 a month, become a member. With that kind of reminds me, I do want to give a shout out to the members we have. I got two members. Member shout outs to Just a Guy on YouTube and Goober316. Thank you both so much for joining and being a member. If you want to be a member, you can follow the link in the description. In the description, there's a little link there. There's also a little join button somewhere on my channel. You can hit that to support the channel and join the club. So yeah, do that. That'd be awesome. All right, so let's get back into the fun stuff here. Gods and Monsters, exploring the ideal antagonist for the DCU Chapter 1. Now, we know that there's a bunch of projects, whole bunch of projects going on right now. This is in no particular order. I just kind of was throwing these up here. Superman, Authority, the Bane Deathstroke thing that's been talked about, Peacemaker Season 2, The Brave and the Bold, Teen Titans, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, Swamp Thing, Creature Commandos, Waller, Dynamic Duo, Lanterns, Paradise Lost, Blue Beetle, which is going to be an animated series. They're making it a Blue Beetle animated series. I didn't know if you're aware of that. Some people don't know that. And Booster Gold. Now, granted, Dynamic Duo, we still don't know if it's connected to the DCU. I'm hoping it is. And it is an animated show. Booster Gold's going to be a series. Paradise Lost is going to be a series. Lanterns, the detective series. Waller's a TV series. We know Creature Commandos, what that is. Swamp Thing is going to be a horror film. Supergirl's a film. Teen Titans is going to be a film. Brave and the Bold's a film. Peacemaker a series. So you can see all this stuff. I think I hit everything. If I didn't, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what I missed because there's a lot. There's a lot. And again, a lot of this wasn't even announced at first. Some of this is all announced or rumored or leaked out by things like Deadline and Hollywood Reporter. I was only trying to put stuff that wasn't leaked out by scoopers. I was trying to put things that are either officially announced by James Gunn or by a reputable source. I didn't want to put things out that were by scoopers because I don't trust that information. So anyways, so chapter 1 is going to be called Gods and Monsters. So what does that mean? Because we have to take a look at the two different pieces of this, Gods and Monsters. And I've talked about this in the past. So when we're sitting here trying to decide and figure out like what is going to be the main big bad, like the antagonist of this chapter, we've got the God side and we got the monster side. So the meaning of gods, like you take a look at it, could it be the superhuman beings, characters like Superman, This isn't just meaning Superman, but characters like Superman, specifically in the upcoming Superman movie, represent gods, individuals with extraordinary powers who grapple with their place in the world and their responsibilities to humanity. So it could be Superman, it could be Green Lantern, it could be Wonder Woman, it could be Hawkgirl. Those could be representative of gods. That could be one way to look at it. You could look at it with the mythological roots. Paradise Lost is going to be delving into the origins of the Mascara, the homeworld of Wonder Woman, exploring the political intrigue and mythos surrounding those Amazonian warriors. But looking at the mythological roots, that's more along the lines of like how Snyder was looking at the heroes, more the mythological side of the heroes. That's another way to look at the gods aspect. Or you could look at the moral complexity of the gods theme, which touches on the characters who, despite their powers, face ethical dilemmas and personal struggles, questioning what it means to be a hero. So there's a few layers to this gods aspect that you could look at from that angle. And I think that's how, overall, I think it's going to come down to a very simple way of looking at it with the superhuman beings. I think that's just going to be simplistic. Just, hey, they're superhumans. They're basically gods. I think that's how it's going to be. But then you have the whole idea of the monsters. Now, we could just look at it as literal monsters. Swamp Thing and Creature Commandos. They are literal monsters. You got, Frankenstein's monster, the Bride of Frankenstein. You have Swamp Thing. You have these monsters that are they're grotesque and gross looking, and they will be brought to the forefront, who are just going to be monstrous in appearance, and they'll delve into the horror and supernatural elements of the DCU. However, we can also take a look at perceived monsters, how the not the audience, but yeah, I guess kind of the audience, but the public within the DCU will look at teams like the Authority or the not morally just heroes who kind of play in the morally gray areas that challenge traditional notions of heroism and possibly be viewed as monstrous due to their methods. And then you take a look at the inner demons. Like the monsters theme also represents the inner struggles of the characters who battle their own darker impulses or traumatic past. So again, that could be the monsters aspect of what we're looking at. So, we have to take a look, like, is the gods and monsters looking at the heroes coming together, gods and monsters coming together to defeat the villains? Or is it going to be gods, the good guys, battling the monsters, the bad guys? We still don't know exactly what it's going to mean. I like the idea of it's gods and monsters coming together to battle a villain. That's how I like to look at it. And that's how I'm choosing to look at it. So I'm hoping I'm right there. And I am way lost on the chat here. Like I said, I get lost on the chat here. But yeah, that's how I'm choosing to look at it for sure. For sure. Let's see. What do we got here? Anybody here? Drop me a line here if you know where I'm at. All right, here we go. We'll go Resonant Justice. Whoever the big villain of Chapter 1 is, I think the Lantern show will be where they are first teased. Possibly. That's possible. Let's see. So that's where I'm gonna sit at. I'm gonna sit at right there. All right. So now, thematic exploration. Now we're going to talk about like the theme of the DCU, duality of existence, the juxtaposing of gods and monsters. The chapter aims to explore the thin line between heroism and villainy, questioning how power can both uplift and corrupt. Interesting. Now, that's almost Snyder-esque, though. Yeah, it kind of feels what Snyder was trying to do a little bit there. We also have the interconnected stories. The projects under this chapter are designed to interweave narratives that reflect these themes, allowing for characters to cross over and share universes, for example, different facets of divinity and monstrosity. And then as well as the moral ambiguity. The theme encourages stories that delve into complex ethical questions, highlighting that heroes and villains are not always easily defined. That's an interesting one. And I think that's what we're going to see more so with this first chapter more than anything. Because, like I said, we're going to see. I think the reason why I answered that question about the Superman, what I think that that story is going to be, is because of how I said how that story is going to go with all the heroes, and highlighting that heroes and villains are not always easily defined. That's a very, very big part right there that I think is going to be highlighted in the Superman movie, because you're going to have a bunch of heroes that think they're heroes, but they're just acting how they think they should act, but not in a very, very good way. And then villains who are just being villains. And some of the heroes who think they're heroes are actually villains. And I think that's what you're going to start to see in something like Superman. And then, as well as with the monsters, with things like Swamp Thing and Creature Commandos, these are monsters that you think should absolutely be villains, who should be monstrous and villainous, but are actually heroes. And I think we're going to see that play out in the DCU. So I really encourage you to go read this article. I think it's really cool to kind of break down and see the different aspects of the DCU and how we can kind of take it apart from what we know so far, which isn't a lot, but just some ideas that you can kind of take apart and then try to put the pieces together a little bit to try and dissect and see what the DCU could be. I think it's a lot of fun. But let's get into who or what we think could be the big bad of this series, of this chapter 1, because that's what's exciting. I picked 3. I didn't want to go more than 3 because I know a lot of you are going to throw some ideas up here as well. And I'd like to see what you guys have to think, because I think it could be interesting for sure. So I'll go with 1, and then I'll see what the chat has to say. Now, the first one I picked is one that I think a lot of people are probably going to say. But I kind of broke it down a little bit on how, why, and where this could all fit. So the first one I say is Brainiac. He's a super intelligent alien android or cyborg, however you want to call him. He's often portrayed as one of Superman's most formidable adversaries. He is known for shrinking and collecting cities like Kandor from Krypton, and possesses technology far superior to Earth's. Connection to Krypton. With both Superman and Supergirl in Chapter 1, Brainiac's history with Krypton provides a direct link. He could be responsible for the destruction of Krypton cities, or Kryptonian cities, and or even have a hand in Krypton's demise, adding personal stakes for both Superman and Supergirl. There's a technological threat. Advanced technology and AI could pose a global threat that requires the world's greatest heroes to unite. His desire to collect knowledge at any cost aligns with the gods theme, positioning him as a godlike figure wielding immense power. Potential crossovers could be Lanterns. Green Lanterns could detect Brainiac's interstellar activities, tying their cosmic detective work to a larger narrative. Now, I understand that their show is taking place on Earth, discovering or investigating a murder that took place there. That doesn't mean that something else could not be going on out in the galaxy that is kind of like story B or story C that doesn't seem relevant to the main story that we're watching there, but ends up being relevant later on. So that could be something that happens in Lanterns, possibly, maybe not. Superman in the comics, we know Brainiacs and Superman connection go back decades. Because of this, we could see Brainiac pop up in the first DCU film in some capacity, showing to be an easy catalyst setting up the big bad in Chapter 1. As well as the Authority, this group's extreme methods of enforcing justice could clash with Brainiac's cold logic, providing a more morally complex conflict. Benefits of Brainiac as big bad: unified narrative. Brainiac's actions could be the thread connecting multiple storylines from Earth's heroes to cosmic defenders. Exploration of themes: his character embodies the dangers of unchecked intelligence and dehumanization that can come with it, fitting the monsters aspect. So there you have it. That's my first one right there, Brainiac. So what do you guys got? Let's see. The Watcher. He says, I think the Center is very likely the main villain. The Center. Isn't that like an island? Isn't it like a piece of land? Like, what was the center? Like, I don't even remember fully what that is. Maybe update me, like, remind me, refresh my memory on what the center is, because to me, for some reason, I remember it being like land, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tio Jones, you're talking to Andrew Baker. Miraculous, I'm still holding on to my theory that the overarching threat is the center from New Frontier and will tie into creatures, commandos, and lanterns. What is the center? Like, I can't remember what the center is. Why can't I remember the center? New Frontier. See, this pulls up. It says Dinosaur Island, Earth 21. Dinosaur Alias is Dinosaur Island. It's an island. Am I wrong on that? Like, is that I what am I like? Center has the ability to use telepathy to communicate with the attack others, cast illusions, mind control, shape shifting. It can use its substance to extrude tentacles. Center has the ability to give birth to dinosaurs and other reptilian creatures. This in turn can reproduce asexually to break up into smaller dinosaurs. It can make dinosaurs? How do I not remember any of this? While the other superheroes fight off the center's dinosaur spawn, how Jordan and Ace Morgan enter the center and attack it from the inside. Yeah, like that's wild. I don't know, man. That'd be wild. Not saying that's not something James Gunn wouldn't do, but that's wild. Oh man. Um, let's see. You guys talking to yourself to each other here. That's fine. I'm all for that. Um, Tia, why not use Metallo, Parasite, Humanite? Why make some generic creature character from DC Online? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Come on, guys. Um, yeah, see, this is why you guys start talking to each other, and I don't know what's going on here. Something that might help you, Slav, is to star the last comment you read. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. I'm not using StreamYard, but I can still star on what I'm using. I can. See, Tia Jones, I'm sorry. Superman is too lame for modern cinema. The casuals are going to be confused. They've seen enough Captain Underpants, which is why Gunn is basically making. Tia, what's your problem, man? What are you saying? Hope for Life. Since the threat is going to be on Earth, I think it will be White Martians or the Center and Doomsday Cult. Fingers crossed for Blackest Night. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I know I talked about White Martians last week, talking about lanterns because I think it's a cool thing. There's no reason why the um, villain of lanterns has to be the overall big bad for the DCU. There's no reason why. Think of it this way: like, we know that, like, think of it like this. Loki, I'm going to Marvel here. Loki was the bad guy in Thor. Ultimately became the big bad for the first Avengers movie, but was not the big bad for the overall first phase, like, well, not first phase, but the first, like, big overall, like, main chapter of, like, that was Thanos, you know? The way I'm talking about it is like he was a pawn to Thanos. So the White Martians could be, I'm just saying because we don't know if it's White Martians, but let's say it's White Martians in the Lanterns, could be a pawn to, say, Vandal Savage, or a pawn to Brainiac, or something like that. So we could see, and it could be connected to a larger threat. I still don't see the center though. Like, I just don't see it. I'm having trouble seeing the center. That's my problem. I don't know. Hope for Life asks, would you consider the Authority monsters because of their actions? I personally would. Yeah, I think the world in the DCU is going to view the Authority as monsters. I do. That's what I think. The Watcher. You're talking about Superman. You guys don't need to fight. Talk to me. Let's talk about this. Let's have some fun. That's what I want to do. I want to have fun. Let's not fight in the comments. Let's have fun about this stuff. Um, Johnny Doe. People saying he is too light skinned. I hate that. I bet Snyder fans say the Snyderverse one was better. LOL. Look, people are being ridiculous. It's crazy to think. The people who are saying things like that, and I'm going to get off a little topic here. The people who are saying this are the people that are the Snyder loyalists, the ones that are like diehard Snyder fans. They're the ones that are criticizing this casting. And they're saying things like he's too light skinned or whatever. Wayne T. Carr was better. That's a form of bullying. And yet they're all the ones who sat there for how many years raising money for suicide prevention. What is the main cause for suicide, specifically in teens? Bullying. Do you see how this all happened? Like, do you see the hypocrisy there? And they wonder why I left the fandom, why so many people are leaving that fandom. It's because of stuff like that. It's because of the hypocrisy and the absolute toxic and disgusting, vile behavior like that. They don't realize that that is a form of bullying, and it's a form of, just being disgusting and vile, and they just don't acknowledge it. But I digress. Let's get back to the fun. I don't want to highlight this. T.O. Jones. I'm telling you, he's gonna adapt New Frontier. I don't know if he will. I don't know. Maybe he will. Jay Burns says, I'm a Snyder fan. I think Aaron Pierre casting is perfect. I'm not saying all Snyder fans. Aaron Pierre is a fantastic casting. We all know that for sure. Just saying, Slav, I'm entitled to my opinion. You are 100% entitled to your opinion. Absolutely. But let's have some fun here. Let's discuss what we think the DCU is going to be here. Let's discuss. We're talking about who we think the villain could be. Like, that's the fun. Like, the most fun thing about any franchise is the possibilities of the future. And right now, the future is just wide open. So let's just discuss. Like, we know very little about the DCU. We know very little about what could be. So let's discuss what we would like to see, what it could be. Let's not sell ourselves and convince ourselves it's what's going to happen, but let's just discuss and say, hey, this would be cool if this is what happens. And then when it doesn't happen, and whatever does happen, then we can discuss, well, now that this happened, this could happen. That's what's fun about it. Manos time. Hey, Slav, hope you're okay. I'm doing well. For sure. I'm here. I'm doing well. The Watcher says, I think Blackest Night is very likely going to be a small Justice League level event for the DCU, but the Infinity War, for example, it could be for sure. Okay, let's move on to the next thing here. My next villain that I think could be the big bad, to an extent, is Vandal Savage. He's an immortal villain who has influenced human history for thousands of years with vast resources and strategic genius. He could aim to control the future based on his extensive knowledge of the past. He has historical influence. His immortality allows him to have connections with various characters and events across time, which could be explored in even something like Paradise Lost or the Paradise Island. I think that's whatever. The series set in Themyscira before Wonder Woman's time. Vandal Savage could be manipulating events from the shadows, influencing organizations like those led by Amanda Waller, or interfering with the Creature Commandos. There could be a crossover with the Brave and the Bold, with Batman and Damian Wayne could uncover Savage's machinations with Gotham or globally, providing a detective story that ties into larger events. Booster Gold, as a time traveler, might encounter Vandal Savage in different eras, highlighting Savage's long-term plans. Lanterns, it's said that the series is going to delve into an ancient mysterious threat. Could that ancient threat be Vandal Savage? Again, he has a moral complexity, his desire to shape, he has a desire to shape humanity's destiny, raises questions about free will versus control, aligning with the DCU's exploration of ethical ambiguities. And there's a grounded threat. Unlike cosmic villains, Vandal provides a more terrestrial yet formidable challenge, balancing the gods and monsters themes. So again, I think Vandal Savage could be cool, could be interesting. Some people think he could pop up in Peacemaker, but it's interesting. I like it. It's cool. It's definitely could be a cool one for sure. So many. Um, let's see. What do we got? Tio Jones says Gunslate should have been JSA set in the 60s. Same with Wonder Woman, Green Lantern in the 70s, Batman in the 80s, Authority in the 90s, all built up to Superman versus Authority in the 2000s. Here's the thing. It looks like the setting for, like, just by seeing the set photos of Superman, it doesn't look like it's any time period necessarily. Like, it's not our Earth. So it's not set in any one specific time like us, like our time frame. So saying 70s, 80s, 90s, you're stuck in this mindset of like the MCU where they are set in like real life time. Just by the aesthetic, the way things look in the DCU, it is detached from real life. It is completely detached from real life. Sure, it has remnants of real life because I mean it's got to. It's a humanoid Earth, but it's detached from it. So um saying it needs to be like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that kind of thing. I think it's pointless to do that because it's so detached. I think everything's going to just flow and fit a different way than you would think that way. Boy. Do, 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 do. Man, you guys are going off on some other things here. Man, I just don't. Yeah. You guys go ahead and keep talking. I'll just keep going with what I'm saying. All right. So, my next one would be the Anti Monitor. The Anti Monitor is a cosmic entity from the antimatter universe, known for his role in the Crisis on Infinite Earth storyline. He seeks to destroy positive matter universes to increase power of the antimatter universe. This could introduce the anti-monitor. By introducing the anti-monitor, you could open up the concept of the multiverse early in the DCU. Now, this one I think is kind of unlikely to happen, but I think it's a cool story. You could align with projects that have cosmic existential themes. His universe ending capabilities would require all heroes to unite, from earthbound vigilantes to cosmic protectors like the Green Lanterns. Obviously, the Green Lantern series could serve as a starting point, detecting disturbances caused by the Anti Monitor. And then Swamp Thing, as an avatar of the Earth's life force, Swamp Thing could play a key role in combating a threat to all existence. And high stakes and antagonists of this magnitude raises the narrative stakes significantly, making for an epic confrontation that can define the DCU scope. And his role embodies the ultimate monster, challenging the gods, heroes in a battle for survival, thus encapsulating the chapter's title. So again, these are all ideas. These are three different types of villains. I think you got the Brainiac one, more tech based, more um, very powerful villain, but nothing that's I'll say universe shattering. You got a Vandal Savage who's very more so earthbound, um, down to earth type of villain, and then you have the Anti-Monitor who is very universe ending type of villain. So I gave three possible villains here. I know that some of you are saying the Center. Some other have said Vandal Savage. I've seen some of you are saying White Martians. I think White Martians are a little weak for a Justice League level type of villain. I know some people are probably going to say things like Darkseid or Steppenwolf or things of that nature. But what do you guys think? Like, honestly, I want to know what you guys have to say. I want to know what you have to say. What do we got here in the comments? Otito says a cool concept would be Vandal getting his immortality from an ancient relic gotten from Greek gods in Paradise Lost and fighting and outliving many heroes throughout the 80,000 years of existence. Yeah, and again, him having manipulated, being there, like I think I brought it up last week how the White Martians could play a role finding the metagene in humans years ago. manipulating the future for the human race. Vandal Savage realizing it, a whole bunch of stuff. Like you could play in that sandbox so much and do something so crazy with that. Vandal Savage, like you said, Paradise Lost and doing stuff there. Oh man, you could do a lot with Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage could be a really fun villain to play with. Can he or should he be a Justice League level threat? I don't know. I think a lot of people love the Brainiac threat or the Brainiac angle the most. That's what a lot of people really go towards, and I think even I myself want to go the Brainiac route more than anything. But I think it's because I've been wanting to see Brainiac for a number of years. But I love Vandal Savage. I think Vandal Savage could be amazing. I really do. Let's see. The Watcher says Booster Gold is from the future, GI Robot is from the past, and Superman is modern day. Okay, I don't know what's going on here. Oh man. Uh, boy, I tell you, there's so much going on here. Like I don't even know. Like there's a lot of infighting going on in the comments here, and this is no fun. I don't like the infighting in the comments, guys. I mean, if you want me to jump in, I'll jump in, and then it's just gonna get nasty because everybody's gonna get mad at me. Well, not everybody. You all back me up, I'm sure, but there'll be a section of you that get mad at me if I jump in here. Oh man. Let's see. Where are we at? Let's see. So I guess T.O. Jones. So you're talking about what you want to see, how everything goes. You're speaking more like I'm trying to see what you've said here. You're saying the Watcher should have been first, in my opinion. Here we go. Superman should have been the last movie of this slate. Superman, Light of Hope versus the Authority, who have made humanity lose hope and morals. Just saying, gun can't plan for shit. Okay, so let's talk about that here because I this is actually good. I saw this comment. Superman should have been the last movie of this slate. No, Superman should absolutely 100% be the first movie in the slate. Superman is going to be the one who you're going to hate this because I know you're somebody. I can't remember if you're one of the Snyder fans or not, but the Snyder fans who hear this are going to be mad. He is going to be the one who reestablishes hope in this universe. He's going to be the one who reinvigorates the heroes in this universe, and that's the whole point of this movie. That's what it's going to be about. The movie, like I said, is going to be about heroes who are just running amok in this universe, and government control. Government is going to try and control heroes. Government is going to try and control everything that's going on. Again, like I said, have you ever read Kingdom Come? Think of that a little bit, how the heroes are kind of running around, sort of running around running amok in that series there. And that is how it's going to be. And Superman, who is going to be like year 2, year 3 Superman. I can't remember what the rumor is or what they were saying he's going to be. He's going to be a very young Superman. And yeah, the government's going to try and control him, and he's not going to allow it. It's not how it's going to work. They're going to want him to join their teams and everything like that, but he's not going to do it. So what they're going to try and do is find a way that they can control him. And they're going to try and turn the public against him. They're going to try and do everything they can to make it seem like he's not the Superman that he actually is. But when all is said and done, he is going to be the symbol of hope. He's going to show the world that superheroes can be the prime example. Him. He is the shining light, the example of superheroes. And they're going to do that in this film. Now, because of that, you're still going to have the heroes who don't want to do that, And be that you're going to have heroes that still want to go off and do what they were doing. You're still going to have the government who wants to have control, and sections of the government and agencies that want to have control. And you're going to have the heroes that want to team up and be with Superman and see that there's a better tomorrow. Absolutely. Which is going to build for great storytelling moving forward at that point within that universe, because now you're going to have all these different types of stories that you can tell. You have a team of heroes that want to do better for this universe, for this world. You're going to have the government agencies trying to still want to have control, gain control of these heroes. And you're going to have things like Maxwell Lord and Lex Luthor and stuff like that, who are wanting to vie for government contracts and control, and Lex Luthor trying to manipulate science and make his own tech and make his own metahumans. And you're going to have things like that. Then you're going to have the Authority doing what they're doing. Like, you're going to have all of these cool different types of stories going on because of this movie. So you sit back and you realize, like, okay, this movie makes sense for being the first movie coming out. Now, again, this is all what I think is going to happen. Is it going to happen? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not exactly like that. Maybe parts of that. But just from what I've gathered, from what I've picked up, from what I've heard, from what I've seen, that sounds pretty accurate to how it's going to play out. And I couldn't be more excited. I think it's going to be fantastic to see that play out. I think it's going to be awesome. So, Tio, I think Superman being the last, that just makes no sense. He is the ultimate superhero in this universe. You start the universe with that hero. The pinnacle, that hero is the one you start it with. That way, every hero from that point forward strives to be as good as that one moving forward. That's why you do that. All right. Let's see. Tio says, who's fighting? I'm just giving thoughts. I haven't insulted you or anybody. I'm not saying you're that kind of fighting. I'm just saying, gentlemanly arguments. I'm sorry. I should speak better. The Watcher says the DCU is built around him. He's the center of the universe. Exactly. That's exactly what I just said. He says, I think he's year 2. I didn't think that's why, Tio, I know you're not a Snyder fan. I know. I thought I remember having a conversation with you. Like I said, I couldn't remember for a fact. I knew you're not a Snyder fan. I thought so. Lawrence Fury, James Gunn is coming. Hope for life. Well, if you want to try and stop the fighting, I've got your back. Lawrence Fury, we need a Superman who inspires people in the genre right now. The world is crazy right now. Very, very true. Very true. You couldn't be any more right about that. T.O. Jones, exactly. So JSA should have been first. The golden years, and Superman brings that light of hope that they have lost due to teams like the Authority, Vigilantes, etc. There's no buildup or excitement. Again, you don't necessarily have to have that buildup, though. That's what you don't understand, because a good storytelling, it's like, think of this. Star Wars started with the 4th chapter, essentially. Like, you didn't need to have that buildup to understand that Luke Skywalker is who he is. He blows up the Death Star, becomes, who he is. Like, think of it like that. Like, that is Superman. Superman is Star Wars Episode 4, essentially. Like, that's what it is. You're jumping into a middle chapter, and that's fine. Like, you can do that in stories, because you can jump in, and as long as the writing is done well and it gives you enough story within that story to understand what's been going on prior. And it doesn't need to be a lot. Like, A New Hope, Star Wars A New Hope doesn't give you everything, but it gives you enough to understand that Darth Vader, evil, bad. Empire, evil, bad. Luke Skywalker may have some special abilities. Obi-Wan, oh, he's a good mentor. Oh, look at this. Death Star, bad, must destroy. And then, boom, destroyed. That's a great story. Oh, look, he's our New Hope. There you have it. Like, that is Star Wars. Essentially, Superman is going to be like that. you make a movie, you make a story that is well written, well executed like that, it's fine. Now, at a later date, maybe James Gunn, maybe the DCU explores what came before that. That's possible. Not saying they will, not saying they should, not saying they won't, but it's possible they could explore it later on. But it's not necessary now, because as long as the story you're telling gives you enough exposition about what came before, so you understand why your hero is doing what they are doing at that point in time, you don't need that. Like it's all about good storytelling. You don't need to have 4 or 5 movies of buildup to understand why Superman has to be a ray of hope. Like you don't need that. You didn't need that. Look, as somebody who likes the Snyder films, yes, I understand that Batman vs Superman was not a very good movie, but I can sit there and say, look, the death of Superman in that movie was rushed. 100%, it was rushed. But the story from the beginning of Man of Steel to the end of Batman vs Superman, I think is told well enough that it makes sense that it goes from scary alien on Earth to the world not wanting a Superman. Do we need a Superman? To him showing the world that, hey, I'm a hero and I'm here to protect you. This is my world just as much as it's yours. To him dying, that the world is like, man, maybe we do need a Superman. Like, I thought that was done well enough within that was what, 6 hours, 7 hours long of a story. But again, that was a crazy story right there. You can tell a good story with good writing. And again, it's essentially Star Wars. Like, that's what it is. You're jumping in the middle of a story, in the middle of a huge universe story, and telling the story of a new hero. That's all it is. So you can't sit there and say it doesn't work, because we've seen it work how many times in the past. It'll be fine. Lawrence Fury. We need a Superman who inspires right now in this generation, for sure. T.O. Jones says, it should have been JSA, Wonder Woman, Lantern Corps, Batman, The Authority, Superman in different eras. My guy, there's no build-up, Gun just throwing it all. Like, I don't understand why you think, like, now you're saying it needs to be just like Marvel. Like, that's what you're saying. Like, basically what you're saying is it needed to be just like Marvel building to the Avengers. You're saying that Superman needed to be the Avengers. And it doesn't have to, because first off, Superman may not be the Avengers level type of threat. I mean, it may not be an Avengers level story. Again, I just said I'm not going to repeat it, but Superman is going to be, think of Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, jumping into the middle of a huge franchise, universe, in the middle of an ongoing story. That's all it is. Hope for Life. I wonder if the Legion of Doom would ever get involved in this Gods and Monsters chapter. Man, I can't believe nobody's thought of that. What if we're sitting here talking about, like, Vandal Savage, Brainiac, or this, and it's freaking Legion of Doom they do? Like, come on. This whole time we're not thinking about it. We know we got a Lex Luthor. Like, we know we got that much going on for us. I mean, come on. Come on. Bravo, Hope. Bravo. You're the first one to actually bring up Legion of Doom. Well done. Well done. Johnny Dome, Lantern Court first enemy, I think. Lawrence Fury, I missed the classic superhero. And we're going to get that back. Critic Chris, just remember, I'm not biased. I've commented plenty of times. I dislike films by both Snyder and Gunn. Purely think the hatred for Gunn is not justified. I agree. I dislike some of Gunn's films. I'm not a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm not. I think it's the weakest film. And honestly, I only like the first 5 minutes of that movie when Groot's dancing around. That's pretty much the only moment of that movie I like. But I love the other 2 Guardians. Well, I'll say 3 Guardians films because the holiday special. But I love the other ones. And Snyder, I thought the Rebel Moon films were horrendous. Sucker Punch wasn't great, but the rest of his films are pretty good. So, like, again, I mean, no director's perfect. Directors drop the ball sometimes. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know why there always has to be this one or that one type of thing. Man of his time, if we don't start with the big characters now and just focus on B, C tier characters, not a lot of people would be interested. People who aren't interested in comics don't know the JSA. Very true. Lawrence Fury, this is the middle of the DC universe. Superman is going to lead by example in how we should do things. Precisely. I mean, that's the whole idea. Like, Superman has to be the example, and that's what it's going to be. Why are you talking about Guns D? Tio says, come on, Slav. Superman versus Authority, restoring hope in a badass way wouldn't be awesome. Make people excited, especially the casuals. I can tell you right now, the casuals ain't going to watch due to lack of build. What do you mean lack of build? They're going to see Superman. Like, they're going to see the title Superman. They're going to see Superman flying on their screen in the marketing. Marketing's going to be shoved in their face starting in December. Most likely, starting in December, it's going to be shoved in their face and then really shoved in their face from April to July. They're going to see this movie. It's not going to be because there's no buildup that if they don't go see it. If they don't go see it, it's going to be because it's a bad movie. And I'm going to tell you this, it's not going to be a bad movie. It's not going to be because there's no buildup. It's a Superman movie. It's not a Justice League movie. It's not an Avengers level. Like, if this was the first Avengers movie, okay? If Marvel just came out and said Avengers in 2008, if it was like, here's the Avengers, that movie would have made $600-700 million, maybe max $600 million. Sure, I agree. But they did the buildup. They did Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, Iron Man 2, boom, Avengers, $1 billion in 2012. There you go. There was a buildup to it because it was the Avengers. Makes sense. Superman is not Avengers level. That's what you need to understand. That's what a lot of people need to understand. It's not the Avengers level film. It's not being made and banked on making $1 billion. People are going to go see this movie. If it makes $1 billion, awesome. But that's not the point of it. The point of it is to establish the DCU, to get people interested in the DCU, to gain trust for the DCU again, to say, this is Superman now. I trust Superman. I trust the DCU. I'm excited for the DCU again. This isn't about, oh, look at this huge spectacle and all of this. This is about gaining the trust of the public again. That's what it's about. The Watcher. Exactly. Gunn is making it like Star Wars, where there's era, the past with his JSA, GI Robot in World War II, modern day with Superman, JL, and the future Supergirl, Legion of Superhero. T.O. Jones, Manos time. You're talking to him. Let's see here. Let's see. Trying to see. Critic Chris, using Brainiac in DCU's second phase is copying MCU's Ultron. Yeah, I don't know if it could be. James Gunn said this Man of His Time. James Gunn said time and time again, DCU starts with Superman. Creature Commandos is just an appetizer. Yep. The Watcher. People got applying MCU formula to DC. It doesn't work. DC Gunn giving DC its own formula. It fits the source material. I got to stop. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Johnny Dome. If the Court of Lanterns disagree with the main Lanterns, maybe first 2 episodes to show the big deal with Lanterns, then story starts strong. Tia Jones. Yeah. Only to be overshadowed by Fantastic Four, MCU promotion. Slav, come on. RDJ's eyebrows sell more than whatever Gunn is trying to make. I'm telling you, bro, it's not as great as you paint it. First off, RDJ isn't even going to be in Fantastic Four. There's number one for you. If he is, he's going to be in the post-credit scene which, believe it or not, fans will probably show up to see RDJ in a 3-second scene more than Snyder fans showed up to see Henry Cavill in a 3-second scene. But that's besides the point. I know, Tio, you're not a Snyder fan, but that's besides the point. But no, RDJ isn't in Fantastic Four. Don't forget that. Number 2, I'm telling you, I might be wrong, but I truly, wholeheartedly believe by the end of November, Fantastic Four will move out of July. But even if it doesn't, Superman will still make money. It's still going to make money. It's still going to be big. There's plenty of money to go around. There's plenty of people to go see both films. If people want to see Superman, they're going to go see Superman. If people want to see Fantastic Four, they're going to go see Fantastic Four. If people want to go see Jurassic World 47, they're going to go see Jurassic World 47. If they want to go see all 3, they're going to go see all 3. That's just how it works. People are going to go see them. But I'm going to tell you right now, like, Fantastic Four most likely is going to move. Blade is not, they don't have a director yet. They need to start shooting. If they want it to come out by next November, they need to start shooting within the next 2 months. And if they don't start shooting within the next 2 months, it's going to get delayed again. They don't have anything else in the docket, so they're going to want to spread out next year's movies a bit. They're just going to push Fantastic Four back. Whether it gets pushed to November, whether it gets pushed back a month, 2 months, who knows? But Fantastic Four will get pushed just to give them a little more revenue in that last quarter of the year. Let's see. Tio says, oh wait, nope, not Tio. Critic says, I'd actually like to see Vandal Savage with Secret Society before seeing LOD, Legion of Doom. There we go. I like to see businessman Lex on top of the world getting away with stuff with only Superman knowing who he really is. That'd be cool. Yeah, I agree. Tio Jones, man, the only thing they're going to establish in James Gunn going back to Disney, he finally get fired. You watch. All right. Jay Burns, July is going to be great for fans of DC and Marvel. Excited for both. Tio Jones, well, that post-credit scene is going to get more eyes and talk than Superman, my guy. Man, it was time. Nothing is out yet. Slav said many. Oh, man, stop it. Said many times that you don't have to be hyped for DC. There's things about the cast that I don't like, but just give it a chance. Precisely. Johnny Domes, Superman promotion might be as big as Barbie promotion. Remember, it's called the Summer of Superman. Precisely. The Watcher, the Summer of Superman. I have like that. Tio Jones, big. Bras Saslav wants money, not established. If Gunn fails, which he will, your whole little DC is in the trash for show. And Fantastic Four is not going to be pushed back. Doesn't have to. Superman should, though. What don't you understand? Like, you have, I'm sorry, Tio, you don't understand the way the industry works. First off, yes, Zaslav wants money, but he also understands that the DCU is an investment right now. It is not something, he understands that how bad the DCEU failed, it's not going to be a sure bet immediately. You know, they have sat down and had this discussion that Superman, while it can be big, it's not going to be a $1 billion hit. No movie is a sure $1 billion hit. Like, they understand that. These are smart businessmen. Now, you're talking about the regime back from 2016, 2017. Yeah, they didn't understand that. They thought that, oh, superhero movie, absolutely $1 billion. If it doesn't make $1 billion, no, that was a problem for Warner Brothers back then. 100% agree. But Zaslav knows, James Gunn knows, Peter Safran knows. They know and understand the industry. Specifically in the current climate for comic book movies, they know that $1 billion is rough and tough to get. Yes, Deadpool just did it. I get that. But that is not the norm, okay? That is not the norm anymore. So it's going to be kind of a, let's see how this plays out. They know going in that fans, the audience, the larger general audience, as well as fans, are not very warm to DC right now. That is very true. Sure, Penguin's doing well. The Superman documentary's done well for DC Studios. That kind of stuff is doing good. But for a new universe, brand new universe, the past universe didn't do well. It's all about reestablishing, hey, fans, this is new, this is cool, this is brand new. Get into it, like it. Like, let's move forward together. Let's see how this is going to be. It's an investment. So this movie might make 700 million, 750 million, 600 million, 650 million, but then Supergirl may make 50 million more. And then the next movie might make 50 million more. And then you may see it stick around there for a while. And then you get to the Justice League and boom, there's your $1 billion. It's an investment. They're not gonna just trash it if Superman fails. Even if Superman only made $400 million, which I know it's not gonna do that. I know it's gonna make more than that, and you know it too, Tio. But if it did just make $400 million, they're not gonna just trash the whole DCU because they have a handful of projects going on. They may retool it. They may say, James Gunn, you're on thin ice. You better get your shit together, but they're going to retool it and they may say, okay, we got to make changes to make sure this works and this doesn't happen again. But yes, that's how it's going to play out, dude. It's not like you're saying. Not at all. Not at all. I gotta start winding this down, guys. Gotta start winding it down. All right. Tia Jones, so you saying if Fantastic Four pushes back is because Feige and company are scared of James Gunn's Captain Underpants? You don't even believe that. I didn't say that. I did not say that. There's a few reasons why they would push back Fantastic Four. One, because they'd like to separate themselves a little bit from not just Superman, but also Jurassic World for sure. It is a packed month. Again, every studio would like to not be so close to their competition, and it's not just Superman they're competing with. There's other movies as well, but you also have to take a look at what is out there. Marvel sets up their movies and releases movies according to um, their revenue for the year. So you can see, like right now, they have Captain America coming out in February. Is it February? Yeah, I think it's February. So that's going to give them their first quarter, money, and then you have the Thunderbolts coming out in May. That's their second quarter money, and then you got um, Fantastic Four in July, third quarter, and then you have Blade in the fourth quarter. They may want to spread it out. They may want to put something at the fourth quarter, and companies will do that. They like getting that money at the fourth quarter, kind of like the big boost at the end. So they could very easily say, you know what, let's put this at the fourth quarter in November, in December, close to there to give us that boost of money at the end, just to give us a little jump at the end to say, boom, little boost of money at the end of the year. They could do that. They could go, look, we want to spread out our releases further throughout the year, just spread them out a little bit more. They could want more time for post-production. I mean, they started filming in July. So if it comes out in July, they started filming in July. That gives them a year of production and post-production. That's not a lot of time. Most films like about 16 to 18 months for that kind of stuff. This is only 12 months. That could give them a little extra time. So there's a lot of reasons why they would move it if they can and have the ability to move it. It just makes sense. Again, they may not move it, but if Blade isn't going to come out, it makes a lot of sense to move it and put it in that spot. It just does. Hope for Life. Can't forget Creature Commandos before Superman as an appetizer. Can't wait for that. What do you think about Authority? I don't know much about the Authority. I got to do some research on them. Maybe pick up a couple comics. I got to go down to Morgantown, West Virginia, to go pick up some comics. Hopefully they have some. I don't know. I might have to order them online if they don't. Critic Chris, in my opinion, I'm not thrilled for another JW so soon, mostly for Superman. I'm waiting for, as it be a while, Fantastic Four, Jurassic World. It's been a while for Fantastic Four. However, all three Fox Fantastic Four movies were only good at best, but were not critically panned great. The Watcher says, sorry for the typos. My autocorrect spell check hates me. Hey, you're cool, man. It is what it is. It gets me sometimes, too. Jay Burns says, I know nothing of Creature Commando, so I'm looking forward to it. Hope for Life. What has this chat been to? We're not even talking about who could be the big bad chapter 1 anymore. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Sometimes you kind of just go with it. Manos time. There's 2 series currently airing, The Penguin and Agatha. People are looking at DC now, saying that DC has quality. So when they see the DC logo, they're curious. Marvel has to prove themselves too. Agree. For the big bad, I'm curious because what if there's sections like JL Dark that has their own villains? It'll be cool. Yeah. T.O. Jones, it's the same mindset, different faces, dude. DC cannot afford. Let's see how it plays out, as you said. If it plays out the like shite, which it will, buy in the trash, Zaslav wants his money, dude. Tio, what do you think happens? Like, let's just say that's what happens. Zaslav, Superman fails. Superman makes $400 million, and Zaslav says, "We cut the cord. We pull the cord on DCU. Everything's canceled. Everything goes in the trash." What do you think happens into DC? What do you think happens? Jay Burns says, "I really want Brainiac." T.O. Jones says, "None of those projects are going to happen. I can guarantee you." It's not how that works, dude. And you're going to say, well, Batgirl was canceled and completely thrown away. That's a completely different scenario. And Jay Burns says, dang, end of the show, really. Really dig the lives and hope you and the chat have an awesome night. Me too. I love the live shows. I want to do more. This is probably one of my longest ones. Man. A lot of comments here still. Cubistic, what did I miss? Why is Tio hating so hard? He just doesn't like Gunn, I think. That's pretty much it. All right, guys, look, I'm going to get out of here for the night. Thank you all so much for watching. It was a great show. Once again, I want to shout out my member shout out, just a guy on YouTube, and Goober316. Thank you all so much. You all can become a member too, $2.99 a month. You can become a member, support me and the channel. Link in the description, or hit that little join button on the channel to become a member. $2.99 a month. Support me and the channel. And I am going to have a special live show for just members later this month. So make sure you become a member for that, because it's going to be awesome. Awesome indeed. With that, next week we are going to move, I believe, I'm going to double check, but I believe we are moving next week to Thursdays. We're going to be back to Thursdays. Soccer season is over this Saturday for my kids. So we'll be back to Thursday nights, the original planned nights for the Watchtower, my midweek show. The Watchtower will be back to Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. So make sure you stick around there. I will update you all next Monday on the Monday live show. So make sure you you check that show out as well. But with all that said, guys, thank you all so much for joining me talking about this. And with all that said, I'll catch you all later.